Hi, my name's Michael. I'm changing careers into AI engineering, and this is our weekly update where we pretend that you are my manager, and this is our one-on-one. This is week 11. What am I working on this week? This week I'm finding more companies working at AI and manufacturing. I'm visiting manufacturing facilities, and I'm going to networking events. So this week is less focused on code and more focused on this background research. What do I need help with this week? This week I'm good. What I did this week? I had midterms and labs. I figured out the difference, like what Docker does compared to Kubernetes, the difference between NoSQL and SQL databases, what different services are available through OpenAI's endpoints. And I went to a hardware conference where I met with a lot of manufacturers and set up site visits for this week. What's sparked? More projects. What's completed? Nothing. Summoning a flag, I'm going to Seattle this next weekend to visit a friend from uni who's now working as a machine learning professor. Something fun from this week is that I subbed in for an indoor rec volleyball team. I played on my high school's volleyball team, and so it was just so much fun to be out and moving and going through those similar motions again. It was a great time. Something I really enjoyed about the work was talking with ChatGPT when there was something that I knew I didn't understand, and I could just keep asking questions until the point where I really got it. For example, the difference between a SQL database like PostgreSQL and MongoDB, which is like a NoSQL database. I could just keep asking questions about what is the actual format that this data is stored in, one compared to the other, if it was the same data that was going to be stored? And what are the trade-offs? Why do you use one versus the other? How do you know when you want to transition from one to the other? And I could just come up with analogies. Okay, so this one is more kind of like this situation, whereas this one's more like this situation. And just have that conversation as thoroughly as I wanted to in order to really get it. So something I struggled with this week was going to networking events. Because when I introduce myself, I say, I'm doing a one-year master's in data science, and when I graduate, I want to work as an AI engineer in manufacturing. And that brings two uncomfortable ideas to mind. One, I'm a student, and I imagine that the other person really wants to be talking to an engineer who has 5 or 10 years of experience. And two, I feel like everyone is trying to get into AI, and I worry to come across as just another person who's trying to get in. But both being a student and being just another person trying to get in, they're both factually true. And so the way that I deal with that is I'll go to more of these events and keep using that introduction because it's true. And over time, that discomfort is going to blunt down, and I'll feel like less of an imposter. And the second way to deal with it is to put in work and gain that experience, so I know I do have more to bring to those conversations. So something that I used to think but now understand better is Docker. What I understood before was that it was about a container and there was this image, and that's really all I got. And now I understand that it's like, okay, there's an image which then creates a container, the same way that in Python you'll have a class that creates an object. And what this container is kind of a reproducible environment for your code to run in. And this can be really useful. One main example being if you're collaborating with different people and you're all running the same code on different computers, if those computers have different environments, then the code might not run well, or it might just crash completely. So if you can spin up the exact same environment on each computer very quickly, that's really useful, because then at least you know the errors in the code are coming from the code and not from just different configurations. And there are other ways that this tool can be useful, but my purpose here is just to tell you I get it better now. And that's it. To sign off this week, I want to thank my friend Jess for inviting me out to volleyball, because that was so much fun.